My name is Suraj Gulrani. I am M.Tech scholar in IIT Ropar, and in this video I will going to explain four topics. First one is deformation of materials. Second is tensile test of low carbon steel. Third one is Bossinger effect, and fourth one is the effect of temperature and strain rate in the stress strain diagram. Now first topic is deformation of materials. There are three types of deformation in the material generally occurs. First one is elastic deformation. Second is known as plastic deformation, and third one is known as fracture. Now, what is elastic deformation? In elastic deformation, after removal of the load, material is able to regain its original shape. In plastic deformation, there is permanent change after removal of the load, material is not able to regain its original shape. And third one is fracture. If one or more part of the material are break from the parent part, then this type of deformation is known as fracture. Now, tensile test of low carbon steels. In tensile test of low carbon steels, we can observe these all three types of deformation. What is tension test? In tension test, load is gradually increased, and according to that, change in length is to be observed. This is the load extension diagram. Load extension diagram, and sometimes also known as stress strain diagram. In the initial state, there is a point known as P, known as proportional point, up to which Hooke's law is to be valid. Means stress is directly proportional to strain, and the slope of this particular curve is known as modulus of elasticity. After this point, there is a point which is known as elastic point. Sometimes there is no proper, we can say, proper position of that point. Sometimes we can take this point E here or here. But generally what this point shows maximum load that can be applied in the material, up to which material behaves like a perfectly elastic material. Means up to this point there is no permanent deformation in the material. After this point there is a upper yield point, say Y1, and a lower yield point, Y2. What is yield point? Maximum value of stress that can be applied in the material. After that there is a permanent deformation in the material. Means after this point, if we unload the material, then material is not able to regain its original shape. And how we can generate this point? Generally what we do, we take a 0.2% strain in horizontal axis, and we draw a line parallel to this initial line, and this new line cuts this curve at a particular point. At that point we generally known as yield point. Now, this is stress strain diagram for low carbon steels. Low carbon steel such as mild steel, which shows this type of yielding, upper yield point, lower yield point. But some medium and high carbon steel generally do not show such type of yielding. Their curve is generally increased after this point. Why this is happening in the material? In case of steel, nitrogen and hydrogen are the impurities. Let's suppose these are two atoms of the iron, or we can say steel. Carbon and nitrogen are impurities. Let's suppose this is carbon, this is nitrogen, are the impurities or foreign atoms in the iron, but the size of this carbon and the nitrogen atom is more than as compared to this interstitial gap or bond length between two iron atoms, so that these atoms are pushed towards the higher energy side, or known as Vaillancourt side. When the material is to be deformed with the help of the external load, then these type of material, carbon, nitrogen, which comes into the grain boundary and makes an atmosphere known as Pottral atmosphere, and at that Pottral atmosphere, during deformation of the material, these carbon and nitrogen atoms act as a barrier, or they do not able to move the dislocations, so that higher load is to be required to deform the material, so that upper yield point is to be generated. Now there is a limit of a Pottral atmosphere. Once this Pottral atmosphere is to be removed, after that it takes 1 and 2 years to again generate this Pottral atmosphere, known as strain aging time, so that less stress is to be required to deform the material, and a lower yield point is to be generated. After that a constant load is to be applied in the material, and a material behaves as a perfectly plastic material. After that there is a region, this region up to point E, this region is known as strain hardening region. What is strain hardening? In code work, generally we observe that when the material is to be removed, then there are dislocations are to be formed. When the dislocation are to be formed, then one dislocation act as a barrier with respect to another dislocation, and due to dislocation pile up, there is a dislocation forest is to be generated. When the material deforms again, these dislocations act as a barrier and are not able to move the dislocation in a preferred direction, so that more stresses is to be required to deform the material. But there are two countering effects. First one, due to decrease in the cross sectional area, as we know that stress is equal to force upon area, or we can say force is equal to stress into area, means force is proportional to area. As area is to be decreases, as material is to be deformed, so that load required to deform the material is to be low. But at the same time, due to strain hardening, or we can say due to strain rate, load required to deform the material is to be more. In this particular region, due to decrease in the area, load required is to be low, but due to strain hardening, load required is to be more. Means this is a region where there is an instability, and this point is known as point of instability. And this is also known as strength of the material. And what is the strength of the material? Maximum value of the stress or load which is required to deform the material, after which up to which there is no fracture in the material. After that, there is a high amount of load is to be generated at a very low area, and this particular region is known as neck region. And this is the point of fracture, and this particular E to F region is a region where there is a complexity of the stress in nature. Means there is a triaxial state of stress condition, because very less amount of load is to be produced at a very high amount of force is to be produced at a very thin section. This is the typical stress strain diagram. Now the third topic is Bossinger effect. What is Bossinger effect? Let's suppose this is stress, this is strain. Let's suppose this is the elastic region, and after that there is a yielding. Let's suppose this is the initial yield point y, and after yielding again I unload the material from a certain point, then slope of this curve is also equal to slope of this curve, means slope is to be same for both the curves, and slope is equal to modulus of elasticity. Let's suppose after this point I again unload the material, then what I see that yielding will occur at a point which is higher than from the initial yielding point. Why this is happen? This is happen due to strain hardening. As I already explained that dislocation interaction creates a dislocation forest, due to which dislocations are not able to move in the preferred direction, and more amount of the load is to be required to deform the material. Now, if I do not load the material in the tensile direction, if I load the material in the compressive direction, then what I see? We see yielding will occur at a point which is lower as compared to tensile point. Why this is so open? Because the dislocation interaction, which is generally creates a back stress in case of positive preferred direction, is act as a preferred stress in opposite direction. Means back stresses support the loading, so that yielding is to be occurred prematurely as compared to tensile direction. This is known as Bossinger effect. Now, last topic is effect of temperature and strain rate in the stress strain diagram. As we know that as temperature is to be increases, there is a decrystallization of the material and new crystal structure is to be formed, and due to strain rate, high amount of stress is to be required or load to be required to deform the material. In the stress strain diagram, let's suppose these are some typical stress strain diagrams, and in this direction temperature is to be reduced, but strain rate is to be increases. That means as strain rate is to be increases and temperature is to be decreased, more amount of stress is to be required to deform the material, because more temperature means if temperature is to be decreases, then there is less hot working in the material, but due to strain rate there is a more dislocation interaction, so that stress strain diagram shift towards left. These are the 4 topics which I discussed based on the material science. Thank you.